Bonjour tout le monde, merci d'être venu aujourd'hui. Ça me fait grand plaisir d'être ici à Sudbury avec les gens travaillant, ayant de gros bon sens. Hier, on a eu un grand rassemblement, probablement l'une des plus grands pour le Parti conservateur à Sudbury depuis des générations. Les gens ici sont attirés par mon message de gros bon sens, d'annuler la taxe carbone pour réduire le coût de l'essence, de chauffage et d'épicerie, de plafonner les dépenses afin d'équilibrer le budget et réduire l'inflation et les taux d'intérêt, d'inciter des municipalités d'accélérer les permis de construction, de libérer davantage de terrain pour qu'on puisse bâtir des maisons abordables pour les gens qui travaillent. En demandant, je vais revendiquer à chaque municipalité d'augmenter les permis de construction de 15% ou bien ils vont perdre leur subvention de l'infrastructure fédérale. Et je vais donner des bonus aux municipalités qui enlèvent le paperasserie et qui libèrent le terrain pour qu'on puisse bâtir, vendre 6 000 édifices du gouvernement fédéral et des milliers d'acres du gouvernement fédéral afin de bâtir davantage de maisons abordables pour les gens. Et on va contrer la criminalité avec des peines plus sévères pour les criminels les plus dangereux et récidivistes. On va aussi donner le traitement aux gens ayant des dépendances de la drogue. Malheureusement, après une grande tournée dans le nord de l'Ontario, je dois dire que ça va mal, ça va vraiment mal. Tout est brisé après 8 ans de Justin Trudeau. Le coût de logement a doublé. Hier, à Sault-Ste-Marie, j'ai rencontré un charpentier qui a perdu sa maison et qui vit maintenant dans sa voiture. Hier, ici à Sudbury, j'ai rencontré un vétéran qui a perdu son appartement. Il a à peu près 70 ans. Il vit dans la rue pour la première fois dans sa vie. La criminalité est en hausse partout. Hier, on a vu les données. Le crime violent à travers le Canada a augmenté de 39%. Les meurtres ont augmenté de 100% depuis l'arrivée en pouvoir de Justin Trudeau. Ici, à Sudbury, depuis Justin Trudeau, les crimes violents ont augmenté 86%. Les meurtres, 400% plus élevés l'année dernière comparativement à l'année où Justin Trudeau est arrivé au pouvoir. Les crimes avec les armes à feu ont augmenté de 120% après 8 ans de Justin Trudeau. Ça, c'est le bilan de Justin Trudeau. C'est lui qui doit prendre la responsabilité, parce que ce n'était pas comme ça avant Justin Trudeau. Et ça ne va pas être comme ça après Justin Trudeau. C'est les politiques de Justin Trudeau qui ont augmenté le coût de logement. Ces dépenses exorbitantes ont forcé la Banque du Canada d'augmenter les taux d'intérêt, ce qui augmente le loyer et les paiements hypothécaires. Sa taxe carbone augmente le coût de l'essence, de chauffage et d'épicerie. C'est pour ça que les gens ici à Sudbury et ailleurs ne peuvent pas payer leurs factures et manger. C'est pour ça que nos aînés ont de misère à réchauffer leur maison dans le nord du Canada. C'est les politiques de Justin Trudeau qui libèrent des criminels les plus violents qui ont causé la crise dans nos rues. Heureusement, ce que Justin Trudeau a causé comme problème, je peux régler. C'était pas comme ça avant Justin Trudeau et ça ne va pas être comme ça après lui. On va redonner de l'espoir aux gens avec des politiques de gros bon sens. On va éliminer la taxe carbone, éliminer les déficits inflationnistes pour réduire l'inflation et les taux d'intérêt. On va mettre les criminels les plus dangereux en prison. On va arrêter de cibler nos chasseurs et se concentrer sur la frontière pour empêcher les armes. On va travailler avec le gros bon sens pour rebâtir le Canada qu'on aime. Thank you very much, everyone. It's great to be here today in Sudbury with the great common sense working people of this amazing city. The people here work hard. They dig the mines that produce the minerals that we use every single day and often take for granted. They have a lot of common sense. You have to do the work that the people here do. However, after 8 years of Justin Trudeau, things are going very badly for the people of Sudbury and all across northern Ontario. The stories that I have heard in places like Kenora, Timmins, Thunder Bay have both shocked and broken my heart. We see the doubling of housing costs. Yesterday at a coffee shop in the Sioux, I met a 42-year-old carpenter who's living in his car for the first time in his life, because after 8 years of Trudeau, the cost of rent is exorbitant. Yesterday night, I met a veteran who's also a tradesman who's now homeless, as his rent rose faster than he could pay, and though he now lives in his vehicle. In Timmins, I met a man who'd just been robbed for the 4th time in 2 years, the 7th time in 10 years. His sports store was broken into. I met an 18-year-old girl who says she's going to leave Timmins because she's not safe there. I met businesses that are closing in Timmins downtown because they can't protect themselves against the crime that Trudeau's catch and release policies have unleashed. Something new is happening in Canada. Tent cities. Tent cities in almost every town, village, and metropolitan center. Something that was almost unheard of 8 years ago before Justin Trudeau. But what do you expect people to do? They can't pay 100% increase in rent, yet that's what's happened. They can't pay 100% increase in mortgage payments, yet that has happened too. And our young people, in some places now need to save 25 years for a down payment on a home. This was unheard of before Justin Trudeau. And now the crime stats have come out. Now nationwide, the number of murders is up 101% after 8 years of Trudeau's catch and release. Here in Sudbury, violent crime up 86%, homicides up 400%, aggravated assaults up 125%, firearms offenses up 120%. Didn't he say he was banning hunting rifles to stop gun crime? How'd that work out? Turns out it wasn't the hunters doing the crime. Maybe he should have gone after the real criminals instead. Maybe he shouldn't have wasted billions of dollars harassing farmers and Indigenous people, and instead he should have reinforced our border and put the gangsters and gun smugglers in prison. This is the misery and brokenness that people are living as a result of 8 years of Justin Trudeau. But the good news is that it wasn't like this before Justin Trudeau, and it won't be like this after he's gone. A common sense conservative government will reverse his policies and bring home the Canada that we know and love. We're going to bring home lower prices by axing Trudeau's carbon tax. Axe the tax. That'll bring down gas, heat, and grocery bills. It'll allow businesses like this one here to hire more people, transport more goods, and give more opportunity in the community. We'll cap spending to balance the budget to bring down inflation and interest rates. We'll bring home powerful paychecks with lower income taxes that reward hard work in our country again. We'll remove government gatekeepers and red tape so that we can dig more mines and produce more of the minerals that the people of Sudbury are the greatest experts in the world at producing. We'll mine more nickel, cobalt, lithium, and other minerals that will put paychecks in pockets and stop importing these things from corrupt foreign dictators. We'll remove gatekeepers and speed up recognition of foreign credentials so that our brilliant immigrants can work in our hospitals, serving patients and reducing the horrible wait lines. We'll bring homes that people can afford again. The government gatekeepers and bureaucrats at local levels have prevented construction and given the slowest building permits in the OECD. I will change that by incentivizing cities to free up land and speed up permits so that we can build. I'll require cities permit 15% more home building, or they'll lose their federal grants. Those that exceed the 15% target will get a building bonus. Every federally funded transit station must be approved for high-density apartments for our youth and our seniors to live next to the bus and train. We'll sell off 6,000 federal buildings and thousands of acres of federal land to build millions of new homes so our young people can put affordable roof overhead. We'll bring down interest rates by bringing down the deficit so people can afford their mortgages, and we'll back the trades, the men and women who build stuff, move stuff, and fix stuff. They will get their fair share of federal training and education dollars, and we will bring tax fairness for traveling tradespeople to be able to write off all of their costs of travel, accommodation, and food to move around doing their important work. And we will bring home safety again. We will end Trudeau's catch and release policies and bring jail and not bail for repeat violent offenders. We'll stop giving out tax-funded drugs and start giving out treatment, detox, and recovery to bring home our loved ones drug-free. That's the Canada we know and love, the Canada based on common sense, the common sense of the common people united for our common home. Sudbury, Canada. Thank you very much. Let's bring it home.
Okay, we'll now have time for 5 questions from the floor. Bon matin, Monsieur Poilievre.
Bon matin.
Ici Philippe Mathieu du Journal Le Voyageur.
De quel?
Le Journal Le Voyageur. On s'est
parlé
plus tôt cette
semaine.
semaine.
Oui, c'est ça. Merci.
Donc, au rassemblement d'hier soir, vous avez mentionné que vous voulez ajouter plus de formation à l'école secondaire afin de préparer plus d'élèves pour le marché du travail des métiers spécialisés.
Oui.
Est-ce que vous voulez partager votre stratégie derrière cette initiative? Merci.
Oui. Le rôle fédéral, c'est le sceau rouge. On a le conseil de sceau rouge. Évidemment, les métiers sont réglementés par les provinces et les provinces gèrent l'école secondaire. Par contre, le fédéral a un rôle de coordination des matériaux d'études, le contenu de sceau rouge pour former et pour certifier des métiers. Moi, je vais travailler avec les provinces pour fournir davantage de matériaux pour nos jeunes, nos adolescents, de commencer à apprendre les métiers à l'âge 14 ou 15 ans pour qu'ils soient prêts à 18 ans à commencer leur apprenti immédiatement. On veut promouvoir les métiers parmi les jeunes et les informer parce qu'il y a beaucoup de jeunes qui ne savent pas qu'on peut gagner des gros salaires et des grandes opportunités en faisant les métiers. Donc, il faut vraiment promouvoir et trompeter les opportunités qui sont là pour les gens avec les métiers. En fait, moi, je crois que le futur de l'économie, c'est les métiers, parce qu'on a une grosse pénurie de main-d'œuvre. Ceux et celles qui sont capables de faire le job d'un électricien, un mécanicien, seront en demande et il faut informer nos jeunes des écoles secondaires que c'est ça une grande possibilité pour eux et les aider à obtenir un apprenti et de devenir des travailleurs en métier. Merci beaucoup.
Okay. Next question.
Hi, I'm Aya Dufour with CBC Radio-Canada.
Oui, bonjour.
Bonjour. Last night you mentioned that the carbon tax impacts places like Northern Ontario disproportionately, but so does the climate crisis, right? The North is heating up faster than the rest of the country. So how would your policy reflect that if you were elected Prime Minister?
Thank you. That's a very good question. The carbon tax does nothing to fight climate change. It has failed. Our approach differs from the Liberals in this way. They want to raise the cost of traditional energy. I want to lower the cost of carbon-free alternatives. My plan, green lights, green projects, like hydroelectricity, tidal power, nuclear energy, and carbon capture and storage. All of these things have been held up by Trudeau. He killed a tidal wave project off the coast of Nova Scotia after delaying it with federal bureaucracy for 6 years. That would have allowed Nova Scotians to reduce coal-fired electricity and use renewable power from our oceans. I would have approved that in months. He says he wants to duplicate Quebec's environmental review for hydroelectric dams. Quebec needs to increase hydroelectric dams by 100%. They can't afford to wait 6 or 7 years for the federal bureaucracy to hold those projects up. We need more nuclear power, but it takes 12 to 15 years to get a nuclear plant approved. We can do all of the safety and environmental protections for a new nuclear plant in 3 or 4 years rather than in 15 or 20. What are we learning in years 15 and 16 that we cannot learn in years 1 or 2? If you don't have more clean, green, nuclear, hydroelectric, tidal, and other renewable clean energy, how are you going to provide the energy that the 40 million Canadians are going to need with lower emissions? We need to green light these green projects, incentivize businesses to invest back in the clean technology that will allow them to grow greener. This is a common sense plan that lowers the cost of carbon-free alternatives rather than raising the costs of traditional energy that Canadians, in particular Northern Canadians, still need. Thank you.
If we could just get that in French.
Oui, merci. Merci de votre question, c'est très important. Il faut protéger notre environnement. Le taxe carbone ne fait pas ça parce qu'on punit les gens pour avoir utilisé la source d'énergie dont ils ont besoin. Il n'y a pas de choix dans le Nord que de réchauffer votre maison. Il n'y a pas de choix dans le Nord mais que de transporter la nourriture et des autres essentiels. Donc, augmenter le coût de l'énergie dont on a besoin, ça ne fait rien, ça ne change pas un comportement. Il faut réduire le coût de l'énergie alternatif en donnant le feu vert au projet vert. Ça inclut nucléaire, hydroélectricité, surtout au Québec, le capturage de carbone, le pouvoir des vagues de l'océan. Justin Trudeau, avec sa paperasserie, empêche ces projets. Ça prend 15 ans pour approuver un projet nucléaire au Canada. Pourquoi pas protéger l'environnement avec un processus de 3 ans? Qu'est-ce qu'on apprend dans l'année 12 ou 13 qu'on ne peut pas apprendre dans l'année 2 ou 3? Il faut approuver ces projets-là pour fournir une énergie verte et abordable qui va réduire les émissions et le coût de la vie pour les gens. C'est le gros bon sens. Merci.
Okay, next question.
Hello, Mr. Poilievre. My name is Amanda. I'm a reporter with CTV Northern. So my question is about the Indigenous communities in Sudbury and Northern Ontario. If elected as Prime Minister, what plans do you have to address their concerns and take steps towards reconciliation? Thank you.
That's a very important question. And we had the occasion to meet with some Indigenous leaders in Kenora. What I'm hearing from Indigenous Canadians is they want opportunity for their youth. They want the chance to harvest their resources with their control and to their benefit. And that's the vision I have. We need to stop the top-down colonial mentality that forces the wishes of the Ottawa bureaucracy on local communities and instead empower First Nations to take back control of their money, their resources, and their futures. I would do this by removing the unnecessary regulatory red tape and bureaucracy that holds up projects like clean water on reserve, education and training for youth, and allows for local First Nations who choose to develop their resources to do so quickly without federal bureaucracy in the way and to the benefit of their people. Right now, I'm working with Chief Manny Jules, the head of the First Nations Tax Commission from Kamloops, on a policy that would allow First Nations communities to keep some of the corporate tax revenue that would normally be paid to Ottawa for resource projects that happen in First Nations communities. So that instead of the money going to Ottawa and the community having to apply to get some of it back, they could keep it themselves in a voluntary agreement that allows more taxation power by First Nations governments. In other words, First Nations will have more control of their own decisions, their own lives, and their own destinies when I'm Prime Minister of Canada. Thank you.
Okay, next question.
Hello, Erica Corstel with CBC here in Sudbury.
Yes.
If we could get this question answered in English and French as well.
Right.
All right. Some Quebecers are concerned the new Justice Minister says Canada must get intervenor status if Bill 21 goes to the Supreme Court. Should the government intervene?
I am against Bill 21. I believe people should have the freedom to decide what they wear, what articles of clothing they wear. And I believe in freedom of religion and freedom of expression of all Canadians in all provinces and all territories. Moi, je suis contre la loi 21. Je crois que les Canadiens doivent avoir la liberté d'expression et la liberté de religion. Et donc, je m'y oppose et ça a toujours été ma position. Merci.
Okay, and this will be the final question.
Good morning, Harold Carmichael, Sudbury Star, Post Media. The Conservatives have never won nickel belt riding, and I'm not sure about Sudbury riding, possibly never. In order to represent the North, you have to win the North too.
Yeah.
Can you realistically win one of these two ridings in the coming election?
Yes. People in Sudbury want a government that works for the people who work. And everything has gotten worse for people in Sudbury under Trudeau and his coalition with the NDP. Look at the results. What are people in Sudbury getting for this Trudeau NDP government? They've got 100% increase in rent, 100% increase in mortgage payments, 100% increase in violent murders. And we've seen food prices rise by almost 25%. That is what Trudeau and the NDP have delivered for Sudbury. Have people had enough? If they have, the good news is life wasn't like this before Trudeau, and it won't be like this after he's gone. A Poilievre-led, common-sense Conservative government will axe the tax, lower income tax so people pay less and bring home more. We'll speed up home building to put affordable roofs over heads. It will put repeat violent criminals in jail instead of targeting lawful duck hunters and sport shooters. That will be the choice for people in Sudbury. Do they want a common-sense Conservative government that will bring crime and costs down, or do they want the costly coalition that has driven up the cost of living and the crime in our communities? All right. Merci beaucoup tout le monde.